share some research. There's a satellite called the Himawari 8 satellite, which is a geostationary satellite launched by Japan, which is about 36,000 kilometers away, going in orbit every 24 hours. And geostationary means it always stays in the same place above the Earth. And so they have this real-time animation, and a lot of people think it's real images from this satellite. However, this satellite is not producing images. It's supposed to just be sending data like all other satellites. And so what's interesting about this one is that they have this animation they put out every 24 hours, and it's very impressive because the clouds are actually moving. Unlike other animations we've seen before, the clouds were not moving, but this has moving clouds. And also the weather data seems to be accurate. Like if you check this with the weather over Australia, it'll seem to be somewhat correct. Okay, so let's assume that the weather data is correct. That is the real weather data. So what people say is that, okay, so it's impossible to create this real time, and that proves that the Earth is a ball, right? But if you dig a little bit, you'll see that this can easily be faked. So we're gonna look at a little bit how is it possible to fake this? I mean, so many people are involved. How is it even possible? So what they have is they every 10 minutes they upload a new image. Every 24 hours they create a new animation, which is it's just these images playing in sequence, and it looks like they're filming it live, but it isn't. It's an animation, and they even say that here, play the latest animation. You see? Alright, so how is this even possible? So I just quickly want to show you the clouds. It's just made with CSS. It's not using any resources here. The clouds are morphing and they look quite realistic. Even more realistic than the clouds in this image. And so there's not a problem with processing power. That's easy, right? You see that here. And so this is an animation made by an artist on YouTube. It's completely fake, and it's being proudly shown here to be very realistic. And I don't know, I haven't been there. Most people watching this might think it's real if they didn't know it was an animation. So all of this can easily be faked, as proven. This animation doesn't look less fake than this. Alright, so how would they go about actually faking it, you know, with all these people being involved? I found these guys, the International Meteorological Organization. Actually, it's the World Meteorological Organization. And they have this UN flag, except they have a star in it with the flat earth and the 33 sections. And they do official weather observations in over 2,000 cities around the world. and they have 135 members, most of them being countries. And so this is where all the news are getting all their meteorological information. They're everywhere, and it's the same source. And so if you want to fake this thing, first you got to make sure that all of the data all over the world is from the same source, and that you control that source, and that everyone receiving the data trusts that source. That's all you need. If they trust the data and there's only one source which you control, you can send them anything and they will believe it. That's it. That's how easy it is to do that. And so connected to this World Weather Information Service over here, we've got ICSU, the International Council for Science. And that is more broad. It covers basically anything in science. Weather, climate, technology, in all of these countries. And they have 122 national members covering 142 countries. And they play an important role in facilitating links with national governments and science agencies. So these guys tell their respective members what to advise governments. And then governments or people involved will create schools, books, news based on this advice. So if these guys say that, you know, the vaccine is a good thing, then everyone will just say that and it's all good. And so they have these organizations that are international, that connect all of the countries in the world in one web, with one truth being spread to all of them. And that's how easy it is. That's how they're faking it. All of our information is from one source. Like with space. The Himawari satellite is not real. Is not real. And so where's the data coming from? And here's one suggestion. They have these high altitude airplanes. Now we know a passenger jet can go to up to probably 50,000 feet. I mean, the Concorde flew at like 60,000 feet. So, I mean, they probably have airplanes that can go to more than that. And they can be gathering weather data. Now, this image actually, it looks like a little bit like CGI. And I think this is CGI too. But something like this maybe. What's this under here? Okay, it's NASA. It might also be fake. It's supposed to be supersonic. They have these airplanes, or at least these concepts. You know, that's one possibility. They can be using balloons. They're sending up these weather balloons. And they're gathering data. How exactly they're transmitting the data, I can't tell you. I'm not sure if that technology exists. And when you actually look at the weather data, it's very often very unpredictable. So I don't have an exact number, but the weather seems to be accurate only 50% of the time, or even less maybe. And so if you look at this satellite, let's search for real image. I want a real image of the satellite. This is what you get. CGI. Look at this. No engineer would design this. Why do they even spend so much time making CGI? And they have always they have at least one image that looks a little bit real, like it's from production. But you know, what's up with all this tin foil, and does this really look controllable? What happens if it just starts spinning? And how do they even keep it in orbit, in perfect orbit? Perfect orbit. This thing goes in around the Earth every 24 hours and uses exactly the same time. It uses exactly the same time to go around here on the second. No deviation whatsoever. Even though the Earth is spinning, wobbling, is a spheroid. The moon is there with its gravity, and I mean the Earth is moving at 110,000 kilometers, changing directions as it's going in this elliptical orbit, and this satellite is just delivering perfect data day after day. No problem. Super reliable. No backup systems. No hardware upgrades needed. What's going on? Just in geostationary orbit, just outside here, no matter what happens, just following at 35,000 kilometers above the Earth. That is not possible. That is pure fantasy. It's a lie. And this is their evidence. The DS-2000 is a satellite bus created by Mitsubishi, and yeah, this is their technical description with that has got an antenna, a couple of antennas, and they encrypt these data, and then which format is it, which operating system does it have, who programmed this, where can you learn how to build satellites, why do they have images like these. I mean, is this from a production facility? Who designed this? Can we talk to one of the engineers? What is this? You know, they just show you images and they just put a text under the image, and nobody's gonna investigate it. Nobody's even gonna think about it twice. Look at these images. I googled this. Himawari 8 satellite real image. And this is what they give me. Okay, 50 times more data. 35,800 kilometers. Unbelievable, right? So this is the actual rocket. And the top here is the payload. And this is inside there is where the satellite is hiding. And then they shoot this satellite out and they lose this bottom part when it's not needed, when they burn all the fuel. And then they switch to this, like Google Earth something. And then suddenly when after all the computer graphics, then this thing at the top here, it just separates, and then the satellite just emerges, folds out this solar panel, and yeah, then it's just in orbit perfectly forever. 15 years, no problem. It's not possible. There is no such technology. Where's the white paper? Which programming language did you use? How did it survive the thermosphere? How did it survive all the shaking? Why don't it never crashes? Never goes down? Look at this flimsy thing. It's not possible. How do you not see that? So yeah, I thought I'd just share. This is not real. This is just as real as this.